everyone, it's Victoria with Nutrition by Victoria, and in this video I want to discuss why a high-carb, low-fat, plant-based vegan diet is the most optimal for health as well as achieving and maintaining an ideal body weight for life. So we'll get right into it. The significance of a high-carb, low-fat diet is that you're taking in high carbohydrate, low fat foods, and they're plant foods. So in terms of foods, we're looking at fruit, all sweet fruits, bananas, mangoes, grapes, dates, oranges, apples, pears, berries, jackfruit. You get the idea. As well as starches, which include potatoes, rice, corn, pasta, millet, buckwheat, amaranth, quinoa, oatmeal. You get the idea. So those are all clean, plant-based, high-carb, low-fat carbohydrate sources. So when the majority of the diet is composed of those foods, they're nutrient dense, they're high in fiber. If it's fruit, it's high in water. You're getting all this good stuff that comes into the system at no cost to the system, meaning they're not creating stress within the body, so our body can work efficiently to process them, and it doesn't have to work hard to get rid of the gunk that gets left behind from their digestion and breakdown within the system. So we're getting all good with no real cost to the body other than maybe a little bit of digestive energy that is required to break down some of the foods. So what happens with this is a high carb diet is what fuels our system, and the reason I say it comes at no cost is because carbohydrates break down completely into glucose in a very easy, efficient way metabolically within our cells. Our primary fuel source within our cells is glucose, so when you have a structure chemically of your food that most resembles glucose and breaks down easily and efficiently into glucose, that's what the body's going to prefer to use for glucose because it costs the body the least amount of energy. So when you look at a high carb intake versus, say, a high protein or a high fat intake, high fats and proteins also get broken down into glucose when they are required for energy production in the case where calories or carbohydrate intake is insufficient within the diet. You're looking at a different biochemical process that has to take place. It's known as gluconeogenesis, and it's converting fat and protein into glucose. Fat and protein molecules do not resemble glucose. They contain parts within them that can break down into glucose, but it's a very inefficient, energy-taxing process that requires mass amounts of energy from our system in order to run. So in terms of stress and in terms of energy, this is a very stressful process that our body doesn't prefer to do. So in a normal and a sufficient calorie and carbohydrate diet, taking in excess protein and fat, excess of our needs, which can be anywhere above 5% of total calories for fat and protein. Those excess macromolecules go into storage, and they're easily converted into body fat because they're large molecules and they don't break down into glucose easily. So carbohydrates are rarely, if ever, stored as fat the only instance where this actually occurs is when the body has been deprived of carbohydrates, but in that case it's going to take any extra calories and any extra macronutrients and turn them into body fat. But in the instance of normal metabolism and normal calorie and carbohydrate intake, carbohydrates are not going to be converted into body fat even when taken in excess, because that is a very energy inefficient process. It takes energy to convert carbohydrates into body fat, so the body's not going to prefer to do that over burning them for fuel. So that just gives you a basic idea of how the body, the metabolism functions. So carbohydrates break down easily into glucose, fat and protein don't. So fat and protein are more likely to go to storage, whereas carbohydrates are more likely to go to glucose production over fat production. So when you're consuming a high carb, low fat, plant-based vegan diet for long enough and you give your body a chance to recover metabolically, this the nutrients and the calories coming in to the diet support the healing of the organism. So when it comes to healing, the body's going to address what it addresses in order of priority. So it's going to go after whatever is not right in the body first. If you have tumors in your body, it's going to, catabolize those first or break them down. It's going to start getting rid of acid deposits. It's going to start getting rid of body fat deposits if it doesn't have anything left to do, and start to catabolize the toxins that are in your stored body fat, because now it has the nutrients and the energy to be able to do that. So when you have a high carb, low fat diet, the lack of fat coming into the diet, we're talking less than 10% of daily calories coming from fat, or of total daily calories coming from fat, you create a fat deficit in the body. So the lack of fat coming in means that the body has an easier time metabolizing and breaking down the fat that is in the diet still, because even with a high carb, low fat diet where you're not taking in any overt fatty foods like animal products, which includes meat, dairy, eggs, or overt fat plant foods like oils, avocado, nuts, seeds, etc., your body is still taking in the amount of fat that it needs. And usually our body only requires 1 to 3% fat in our diet, and that accounts for our essential fatty acid needs, and that's easily met by a calorie sufficient plant-based diet as long as you're taking in enough fruits and vegetables every day. I'm like going 100 miles an hour. Okay, so then any extra so you're not having any extra fat coming into the diet when you're not taking in overt fat foods on a regular basis. And so your body has an easier time metabolizing the amount of fat that is coming in, or aka utilizing it for where it does need it, getting rid of the fat that it doesn't need, and then addressing body fat stores. But the removal of body fat within the organism is a very energy demanding process that does require time. So your body fat's not just going to fall off, within a week or a month or a year even. For women it takes longer because we tend to have more body fat on our system. For men it is a faster process because they have more muscle tissue generally in relation to their body fat percentage. So hopefully this video gives you an idea of how the metabolism works, why a high carb, low fat, plant-based vegan diet supports optimal health and achieving and maintaining an ideal lean body weight. And the reasoning for that is because this kind of a diet creates the least amount of stress on the system. It promotes a high metabolism, which in turn promotes a faster rate of healing and addressing anything that's out of whack in the system, as well as it allows the body to address body fat stores without compromising the metabolism, which is what happens in a calorie restrictive, carb restrictive diet. So And then the lack of protein and fat coming into the diet means that we're not building up the system, because those are anabolic foods. We're not building up the system with excess fat and protein, so we're not contributing to disease, we're not contributing to growths within the system, acid buildups, etc. And we're able to address anything that is going on in the body, get rid of it, and start to, you know, really maximize out our health and pretty much set ourselves up for a lifetime of immaculate health, very low risk of developing disease, and maintaining a figure and physique and appearance that makes you look and feel and just be your best. So, and be the most productive version of yourself imaginable. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like if you did. Leave me any comments or questions down below if you have any. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.